once again to the Winner's Circle. I'm joined today by Tom Preece, who is the Vice President of R&D from Cobra Golf. How you doing, Tom?
I'm doing great.
Excellent. I appreciate you coming in for us. Obviously, Jonas Blixt wins at the Greenbrier Classic this week, and let me tell you a little bit about the golf equipment that Jonas used to get the job done, his second PGA Tour win. Jonas's driver was a Cobra ZL Encore with 8.5 degrees of loft and a graphite-designed Tour AD DI6X shaft. His fairway wood was a tailor-made rocket balls with 15 degrees of loft and a graphite-designed Tour AD shaft. His hybrid was an Adams Idea Pro Black 9031 with 18 degrees of loft, and that had an Alda Voodoo hybrid shaft in it. His irons were Cobra S3 Pro MBs, a 3-through pitching wedge there with True Temper Dynamic Gold X100 shafts. His wedges were a Titleist Vokey Design SM4 at 54 degrees and a Cobra Tour Trusty at 61 degrees bent to 60. And those both had True Temper Dynamic Gold S400 shafts. Jonas's putter was a Yes Donna 2, and he played a Titleist Pro V1 X golf ball. So, Tom, let's start off with the driver. He's playing a driver that's a little bit, it's been in your line for a little while now, the ZL Encore driver. Can you compare that ZL Encore a little bit with maybe the newer drivers in the Cobra line, which I suppose is probably now the AMP Cell Pro?
Exactly. Both the AMP Cell and the AMP Cell Pro from Cobra. The main difference between those and the ZL Encore is the ZL Encore is a multi-material driver made with titanium and carbon fiber. We use carbon fiber in the sole and the crown. And that driver's been out in the marketplace for about 1.5 years, which is unusual these days, but it's really because, honestly, we've had a tough time creating better performance. That driver performs so well. And we hear it from our customers all the time, especially on launch monitors. The combination of low CG and high moment of inertia creates really exceptional launch conditions in the ZL Encore. And really what we try to do with the AMP Cell and the AMP Cell Pro driver is replicate those conditions as much as possible in all titanium drivers with a lot of adjustability. And that was obviously a tough engineering feat or challenge. But Jonas's driver is the ZL Encore Black, as you said, 8.5 loft, set in the neutral position. It's an adjustable driver, so it can be adjusted open, neutral, or closed face angle.
Gotcha. When you're working with PGA professionals and a lot of global players who come in and work with you guys and give you feedback, how much is it process sort of refining something maybe that they already like, or trying to break them into something that maybe you guys think, hey, from a performance standpoint, this is new, you should really want to jump into it, as opposed to something, we know you've had success with this, we sort of made subtle refinements and tweaks to it?
Yeah, I mean, every tour player is different, obviously. Some migrate to equipment a lot easier than others. We really focus on our own product line, and we try to essentially obsolete the product lines. We try to come out with a product that's better than the predecessor product. And then we'll take that product to the pros, and we'll work with them on specific shafts that they might need to really fine-tune their performance. Sometimes it's a really easy transition. Other times they like to tinker throughout the season, and it takes a little bit more effort. All players are different, but it's great, valuable feedback because they're so fine-tuned, you know, in their perception of the golf club and what they're looking for. Everything we learn, we can apply to the future product, and it helps a lot.
Gotcha. The irons that he was playing are the S3 Pros. That's a muscle back blade, a real classic muscle back blade. And sort of like the driver, again, it's a little bit of a holdover product. You guys have come out with some more sort of advanced, different types of things. Will you compare sort of those irons that he was playing with maybe something current inline, and how is it different from what I'm presuming is probably now then going to be, again, the AMP Cell product that you guys brought out for 2013?
Exactly. The S3 Pro is a real traditional forged muscle back. I like to call it a butter knife. It was kind of the predecessor to the AMP Cell Pro iron, which comes in both a muscle back as well as a flow set, a set that flows from muscle back in the short irons to more of a cavity back in the longer irons for a little bit more forgiveness. You know, our other players are in the AMP Cell Pro. Jonas played with the AMP Cell Pro for about 5 months, and he actually just went back to the S3 Pro, and he's gone back and forth a bit, again, tinkering. He actually prefers the look of the AMP Cell Pro. For whatever reason, he decided to switch back right before Greenbrier, and obviously had a lot of success with the S3 Pro. So he's been going back and forth a bit. The AMP Cell Pro also comes in the standard version, which is the AMP Cell iron, which is our game improvement iron, which is kind of the iron for everybody else. So we've seen a lot of great success out in the marketplace with the irons.
Yeah, good luck getting him, now that he's won his second PGA Tour event with those S3 Pros. Good luck getting those out of his hands. The club that actually, Tom, to be honest with you, really is interesting me the most, though, out of looking at his set, the Cobra Tour Trusty wedges. Now, you guys have brought out a couple of those wedges earlier in sort of limited edition models, so people maybe have seen about that. They've certainly read about it in Golfweek and on Golfweek.com. Tell me a little bit about what the plan is for those wedges and how you guys are planning to bring something that is available right now for PGA Tour players out to the public.
Yeah, the Tour Trusty is a brand new wedge. We're super excited about it. It kind of follows the Trusty Rusty, which is a wedge that Cobra's been known for a long time for. The Trusty Rusty was more of a game improvement wedge, a lot of bounce, especially in the heel and toe, that made it a very forgiving wedge. A lot of the Tour players obviously need a different shape, a different wedge characteristic set of specs than the Trusty Rusty. So we've spent the better part of 2 years working on the new Tour Trusty. It made its way out as a prototype last fall on tour. And we've gotten it in all of our players' bags, gotten a lot of feedback, and have really been refining that design all year. The Tour Trusty, as I said, started last fall on tour. We actually just launched a limited edition version as sort of a pre-launch that's in stores now in a 55 degree. And then we're having a full launch of the Tour Trusty in 11 lofts with multiple bounce options, etc., this fall coming up. So it's quite a bit of a different wedge than the Trusty Rusty. It's a much more of a tour-inspired shape, straighter leading edge, very little offset, wider grooves. It's got a new variable speed milling rate, which actually increases the surface roughness of the wedge, combined with the wider grooves, really maximizes spin. And it's available in 2 different finishes, a satin finish as well as a matte black finish. So a lot of different options for tour players and for better players in the new Tour Trusty.
Cool. Sounds like a lot of stuff and really exciting. So we'll look forward to seeing that at retail then, as you're saying, then in the fall?
Yes. Yep.
Excellent. Once again, Tom, thank you very much for joining me. And this is David Dusek for Golfweek Magazine, and you're inside the Winner Circle.